गंधार्विक गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिष्मार भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिष्मार भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिष्मार भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिष्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिष्मार भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट महाभगवत श्री गोरक्षरस बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानुगौरी गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम छय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट विदग्ध गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री मुन देवी गंग देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमात श्री योगमाया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। जय श्री चैतन्य भगवत की जाय। श्री वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जाय। गौड़ीय भाष्य श्री भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जाय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna, Shubhananda Prabhu and Ganga Mataji, Dandavat pranams to you both. Hari bol. Alright, so I'm going to just jump right into the Mangala Charans. Oh, 1 second, let me just make sure my mic is connected. It is not connected. That's weird. 1 second. Ah, there. Now it's connected. Let's see. There. Okay, now it's connected. Great. Alright, I'm sharing my screen and then we'll begin. Jnanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Gurave gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna bhaktaya tarbhaktaya namo namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadato sankirtanai kapitaro kamalayataksho vishvambaro dijavaro yugadharma palo vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro. Namastrikala satyaya jagannatha sutaya cha sabhrityaya saputraya sakalatraya te namaha. Jai 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 Vishvambara Dvijaraj Jai Vishvambara Priya Vaishnava Samaj Gaurachandra Jai Dharma Setu Mahadir Jaya Sankirtanamay Sundar Sharir Jaya Nityanandir Bandhava Dhana Pran Jaya Gadadhar Advaitir Premadhan Jai Shri Jagarananda Priya Atishay Jai Vakreshwar Kashishwarir Hriday Jai Jai Shivasadi Priya Varganath Jiva Pratikoro Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat Madhya Khanda Katha Jeno Amriter Khanda Jai Katha Shunile Ghuche Antar Pashanda Madhya Khanda Katha Bhai Shuno Ek Chitte Sankirtana Aramba Hoilo Jeno Mate. O dear brothers, please hear attentively the topics of the Madhya Khanda, wherein the inauguration of the Sankirtan pastimes is described. Tavaivasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyayat devi tvang nayamang charanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai Kshiptashtakamaditaranga madhe Kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna Vrinde namaste charanayravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ore Mudo Loko Shuno Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Vishakal. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal Jahara Shravane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal Chaitanya Nitair Jate Jani Mahima Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima Bhagavate Jato Bhakti Siddhanter Sar Likiya Chen Iha Jani Koriya Udhar Chaitanya Mangala Shune Jadi Pashandi Javan Sheho Mahavaishnava Hoy Tatakhan Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Vakta Shri Chaitanya Vrindavana Dasa Pore Koti Namaskar Aiche Granta Korite Ho Tarilo Sangsar Narayani Chaitanyer Uchishta Bhajan Tar Garbe Janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavan Tar ki Arbhuta Chaitanya Charita Varnan Jahara Shravane Shuddha Koila Tribhuvan Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amriter Dhar. By nature, all the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Haribol Vidya Lala Sadidi, and I see 3 other devotees there. Dandavat pranams everybody. If you write a comment, then I can see who you are. Oh, now there's only 3 people. Okay. All right. So it has been a while. Couple days I've been on the train. I just arrived late last night here in Mayapur. And so, Haribol Mahibart Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Yeah, so because of the 2-day delay and I don't want to lose the flow, I wasn't able to pre-record because last minute they canceled my train from Mathura, and so I didn't get time to pre-record videos. So since we just had 2 days without reading, I thought maybe it would be good just to catch us up, get us in the flow, just to read all the translations to the verses that we read so far. And then we'll continue on from that point for however much more time we have until 8:30 I mean. So, all right, let's begin. I offer my respect. Yeah, my parents were supposed to arrive. I came to Mayapur last night because my parents are supposed to arrive this morning at like 5 o'clock this morning. Right now it's 7 in the morning, but they missed their connecting flight, so they're going to be coming tomorrow at this time. I don't know why I'm saying all that. Oh, it's because Mahibharat Prabhu is there. Anyway, maybe he'd like to. Yeah, just letting you know. Okay, so beginning from the beginning of the Madhya Khanda, chapter 1, verse 1. I'm just going to read all the translations. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, whose arms extend down to their knees, who have complexions like molten gold, and who inaugurated the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Their eyes resemble the petals of a lotus flower. They are the maintainers of the living entities, the best of the Brahmanas, the protectors of religious principles for this age, the benefactors of the universe, and the most merciful of all incarnations. O my Lord, you are eternally existing, in the past, present, and future. Yet, you are the son of Sri Jagannath Mishra. I offer my repeated obeisances unto you, along with your associates. So that your associates means sabhritaya. Yeah. So you're with your bhrita, your associates, your devotee servants, your putra, your sons. That when he says your sons, that refers to the Gosvāmī disciples. Actually, like Gosvāmī disciples, that doesn't just refer to the 6 Goswamis. It refers to all the renunciate disciples of Mahaprabhu. And I remember reading in the purports that Bhrita referred to all the Grahasta followers of the Lord. So Bhrita is the Grahasta followers, Putra is the renounced followers, and it also refers to the process of devotional service, such as the congregational chanting of the holy name. Right? We just read Sankirtanaika Pitaro in the previous verse, that he is the father of Sankirtan. And also, I offer pranam unto your Kalatra. Kalatra refers to the Lord's consorts, Mahaprabhu's consorts. So according to Vidhi, like Vaidhi Marg, this refers to Vishnupriya Devi, who is Bhushakti, Lakshmi Priya, who is Shri Shakti, and Navadvip, which is Nila, Lila, or Durga. And then according to the word used in the Bengali was Ruchi Vichar. I'm guessing that's more like on the path of Rag, though. One is Vaidhi. Like on the path of Archan, we worship Gaur Vishnupriya, but on the path of Bhajan, I think it explains that in Bhajan Rahasya, we worship Gaur Gadadhar. So this refers to the 2 Gadadhars, Gadadhar Pandit and Gadadhar Das, Narahari, Ramananda, Jagarananda, and others. That's according to Ruchi Vichar. Those are the Lord's Kalatra consorts. Haribol Kṛṣṇa Mai Didi. All glories to Vishwambar, the king of the Brahmanas. All glories to the society of devotees who are dear to Vishwambar. All glories to the most sober Gaurachandra, who is the bridge to religion. All glories to his most attractive form, which is the embodiment of the congregational chanting of the holy names. One second, I'm going to do something that will, I think, then I'll be able to skip from verse to verse if I do. Let's see. I'll just copy this. Yeah, there. Okay. All glories to the Lord, who is the friend, wealth, and life of Nityananda. All glories to the abode of Gadadhar and Advaita's love. All glories to the Lord, who is most dear to Jagadananda. All glories to the heart and soul of Vakreshwar and Kashishwar. All glories to the Lord of the devotees, headed by Srivas. O Lord, please bestow your merciful glance on the living entities. The topics of the Madhya Khanda are just like drops of nectar. Atheism will be vanquished from the heart of anyone who hears these narrations. O dear brothers, please hear attentively the topics of the Madhya Khanda, wherein the inauguration of the Sankirtan pastimes is described. Oh, okay, 1 second. Shubhananda Bro? There, now it should go away. Okay. Oh, dear brothers, please hear attentively the topics of Madhya Khanda, in which the Lord, wherein the inauguration of the Sankirtan's pastimes manifested. Okay, 1 second. As soon as Sri Gaurasundar returned from Gaya, the entire city of Nadia was filled with the news. All the Lord's friends and relatives came running to see him. Some came early, some came in between, and some came later. The Lord spoke befittingly with everyone, and they all became jubilant on seeing Vishwambar. They all greeted the Lord and accompanied him. They accompanied him home, where Vishwambar narrated topics of his pilgrimage. The Lord said, "By the blessings of all of you, I have visited the abode of Gaya without any difficulty." The Lord spoke with such great humility that everyone became fully satisfied. Some persons placed their hands on the Lord's head and said, "Live a long life." Others touched his various limbs while chanting mantras. Some placed their hands on the Lord's chest and blessed him with the words, May Govinda bestow soothing blissful mercy on you." The most fortunate Mother Shachi was filled with joy and forgot herself while seeing her son. The family of Lakshmi's father became most happy, and Lakshmi's distress, that means Vishnupriya's distress, was vanquished as she looked at the face of her husband. All the Vaishnavas became pleased. Some of them immediately went to see the Lord. After the Lord humbly spoke with everyone, he bid them goodbye, and they all returned to their homes. The Lord then took a few devotees to a solitary place to discuss some confidential topics. The Lord said, "O friends, please hear about the wonders of Kṛṣṇa that I have seen. As soon as I entered the abode of Gaya, I heard the most auspicious sounds. Thousands and thousands of brahmanas were reciting prayers from the Vedas. They said, 'Come and see the holy spot where Lord Vishnu washed his lotus feet.' When Kṛṣṇa previously visited Gaya, he washed his feet at that place. The Ganga became glorious as a result of being touched by the lotus feet of the Lord, and Lord Shiva realized the glories of that water by holding it on his head. By the influence of the water that washed the Lord's lotus feet, that place has become famous by the name Padodaka. As soon as the Lord repeated the name of Padapadmatirtha, tears began to incessantly flow from his eyes. Eventually, the Lord lost all composure and began to cry profusely as he called out to the name of Kṛṣṇa. The flower garden became inundated with tears of love, and the Lord sighed deeply while chanting the name of Kṛṣṇa. The Lord's entire body was decorated with hairs standing on end, and he was unable to remain still as his body began to intensely shiver. Shriman Pandit and the other devotees all watched as the Lord cried out of intense love for Kṛṣṇa. Tears of love flowed from the Lord's eyes in all directions, as if the Ganga had appeared there. Everyone there was struck with wonder and thought, "We have never before seen him like this. He must have received the mercy of Lord Kṛṣṇa, or perhaps he has seen something wonderful on the way." After a short while, the Lord regained his external consciousness and began to speak to everyone present there. The Lord said, "Oh friends, please return home today. I will tell you where to come so that we may meet again. We may meet tomorrow. I wish to tell you about my miseries in a solitary place. You and Sadashiv should come early tomorrow to Shuklambar Brahmachari's house." And it's saying, you here refers to Shriman Pandit. After speaking to everyone, Vishwambar bid them goodbye and then performed his duties. Ecstatic love of Kṛṣṇa was constantly visible on the body of the Lord, and he became most renounced in his dealings. Mother Shachi could not understand the conduct of her son, yet she was overjoyed to see him. As the Lord wept, he cried out the name of Kṛṣṇa. His mother saw that the courtyard had become flooded with tears. The Lord cried out, "Hare Krishna, my class is happening now. So after 1 hour, I'll be free." Hare Krishna. Yes, Hare. Yes. My class is going right now. I'll call you back in 1 hour. Is that okay? I'm in class right now. Okay. So okay. Sorry about that. That was the taxi person. That was a taxi person to pick up my parents. They were supposed to pick him up this morning, but now he has to do it tomorrow morning. He's in Kolkata right now. Okay. The Lord cried out, "Where is Kṛṣṇa? Where is Kṛṣṇa?" While calling out in this way, his love incessantly increased. Oops. His mother could not understand anything. Therefore, she sought the protection of Govinda with folded hands. As the Supreme Lord began to manifest himself, innumerable universes rejoiced. Devotees immediately came when they heard about the auspicious beginning of the Lord's distribution of love. All the Vaishnavas who came to see the Lord were warmly greeted by him. Meet tomorrow at Shuklambar's house, where I will submit my sorrows to you in seclusion. Shriman Pandit was filled with joy. He was delighted to see the Lord's wonderful manifestation of love. After performing his duties early the next morning, he took a basket and happily went to collect flowers. In the house of Srivas, and I think Shriman Pandit is Srivas's brother, if I remember correctly. So in the house of Srivas, there was a kunda flower tree that appeared like the incarnation of a vriksha. The Vaishnavas picked from that tree as many flowers as they liked, but the supply of flowers always remained inexhaustible and undiminished. After rising in the morning, all the devotees would regularly meet there to gather flowers. Gadadhar, Gopinath, Ramai, and Srivas all enjoyed transcendental mellows while discussing topics of Kṛṣṇa as they picked flowers. At that moment, Shriman Pandit arrives there with a smile on his face. They all said, "It seems you are very happy today?" Shriman Pandit replied, "There is, of course, a good reason." The devotee said, "Please explain." Shriman Pandit then said, "Please hear the reason. A most wonderful and most impossible incident has occurred. Nimai Pandit has become the greatest Vaishnav. Hearing that he has happily returned from Gaya, I went to greet him yesterday afternoon. Everything he said revealed his utmost aversion to the world. He did not display any arrogance for even a moment. In a secluded place, he began to speak about Kṛṣṇa and the wonders that he had witnessed at various places. As soon as he mentioned the name Paraparamatirtha, the area around him became filled with his tears. His entire body began to tremble, and all the hairs on his body stood on end. Calling out, "Oh Kṛṣṇa," he fell to the ground. When he fell unconscious, there was no sign of life in his body. After a while, he regained his external consciousness with a startled motion. Then finally, he began to shed tears as he called out the name of Kṛṣṇa. It appeared as if Ganga herself was flowing from his eyes. By the devotion that I have seen in him, I no longer consider him an ordinary human being. On regaining external consciousness, he said only, "Let us meet at Shuklambar's house early tomorrow morning. I wish to reveal my distress to you, Sadashiva and Murari Pandit." There is every reason to believe this most auspicious news that I have given you. On hearing this news from Sriman Pandit, the devotees triumphantly chanted the name of Hari. The magnanimous Srivas was the first to speak. May Kṛṣṇa increase our family. What is it? Gotram nu vardatam iti. May our family increase. As all the devotees happily discussed topics of Kṛṣṇa, a most auspicious and enchanting sound vibration arose. All the devotees repeatedly exclaimed, "May it be so! Let everyone worship the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa Chandra." In this way, after picking flowers, all the devotees returned to their homes to perform their daily worship. Sriman Pandit went to the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari on the bank of the Ganga. After Gadadhar Prabhu heard the news, he quickly went to the house of Shuklambar, thinking, "Let me hear what topics of Kṛṣṇa he will relate." Gadadhar hid inside Shuklambar's house. Soon, devoted companions of the Lord like Sadashiv, Murari, Shriman, and Shuklambar all gathered there. And remember, Gadadhar Pandit is hiding in the room. At that time, Vishvambar, the king of the twice-born, arrived there to meet the assembled Vaishnavas. They all greeted him in great happiness, but the Lord did not manifest any external vision. As soon as the Lord saw the devotees, he began to recite verses glorifying the characteristics of devotional service. "I attained my Lord, but oh, where has he gone?" Saying this, the Lord fell to the ground while holding a pillar. The pillar of the house broke under the pressure of the Lord. As he fell to the ground, his hair scattered, and he lamented, "Where is Kṛṣṇa?" As soon as the Lord fell to the ground, exclaiming, "Oh Kṛṣṇa!" all the devotees tottered and also fell to the ground. Gadadhar Pandit fell unconscious within the room. No one knew who fell on whom. All the devotees lost consciousness due to ecstatic love of Kṛṣṇa, and the goddess Jahnavi smiled in amazement. After some time, Vishvambar regained his external consciousness and began to cry loudly and piteously while calling out the name of Kṛṣṇa. "Oh Kṛṣṇa, oh my Lord, where have you gone?" Saying this, the Lord again fell to the ground. The son of Shachi cried out of love for Kṛṣṇa, and all the devotees surrounding the Lord also cried loudly. Again and again, the Lord fell to the ground with great force, but due to ecstatic love, he could not feel anything. The sounds of chanting and crying in ecstatic love combined to fill the house of Shuklambar with love of God. After some time, Vishvambar became pacified and sat down, yet the current of ecstatic love continued to flow. The Lord then inquired, "Who is inside the room?" Shuklambar Brahmachari replied, "Your Gadadhar is inside." Gadadhar bent his head down and cried, Seeing this, Lord Vishwambar became greatly satisfied. The Lord said, "O Gadadhar, you are indeed most fortunate. From your childhood, you have firmly fixed your mind on Krishna. I have passed my time in useless endeavors. Although I obtained that priceless treasure, by the arrangement of providence, I have lost it." After saying this, Vishwambar again fell to the ground, and his entire body, which is worshipable to everyone, became covered with dust. The Lord repeatedly regained consciousness and repeatedly fell unconscious. Although he hit the ground with his nose and face, he was protected by providence. He could not open his eyes due to excessive tears of love. Other than the name of Krishna, nothing issued from his beautiful mouth. Grasping the necks of those present, Vishwambar wept and asked, "O brothers, tell me quickly, where is Krishna?" Seeing the earnest longing of the Lord, all the devotees cried. They were all unable to speak. The Lord said, "Please relieve my distress. Bring me the son of Maharaj Nanda." After saying this, the Lord sighed deeply and wept repeatedly. His hair was unbound and trailed on the ground. The whole day passed like a moment in this blissful state. Then the Lord took leave of the devotees for a short time. The devotees, headed by Gadadhar, Sadashiv, Shriman Pandit, and Shuklambar, were all filled with amazement. They were all speechless and even lost external consciousness after seeing the transformations of ecstasy displayed by the Lord. They all joyfully went to the community of Vaishnavas and narrated in detail the entire incident. Hearing the news, all the great devotees chanted, "Hari Hari," and began to cry. They were all amazed to hear about the wonderful display of love. Some of them said, "Maybe the Supreme Lord has manifested." Others said, "If Nimai Pandit becomes a good devotee, then we can easily tear off the heads of the atheists." Some of them said, "Know for certain that this is one of Krishna's mysteries. There is no doubt about it." Others said, "By associating with Ishwar Puri, he must have seen some manifestation of Krishna at Gaya." In this way, all the devotees happily discussed various topics among themselves. They all jointly blessed the Lord with the words, "May he be the object of Krishna's mercy." All the devotees began to perform kirtan in ecstasy. Some of them sang, some danced, and some cried. In this way, all the devotees happily passed their time as the Lord remained absorbed in his own mood. Returning to partial external consciousness, Vishwambar went to the house of Gangadas Pandit. The Lord offered his obeisances at the feet of his teacher, who immediately got up with respect and embraced the Lord. His guru said, "Glorious is your life, my son. You have delivered both your father's and mother's families. Your students know only you as their teacher. They would not open their books for even Lord Brahma. Now that you have returned, you should begin teaching from tomorrow. Today, go home." After offering obeisances to his guru, Vishwambar departed. Surrounded by his students, he appeared like the moon amidst the stars. The Lord then went to the house of Mukunda Sanjay, where he sat down within the Chandi Mandap. Accompanied by his relatives, the most pious Mukunda Sanjay experienced unlimited happiness. The Lord embraced Purushottam Sanjay and drenched his body with tears. All the ladies made auspicious sounds, and the house of Mukunda became the abode of supreme happiness. After glancing mercifully on everyone, Mukunda returned to his house. Upon arriving at his house, the Lord sat at the doorstep of his Vishnu temple, where he affectionately bid farewell to his students. Everyone who came to greet the Lord was unable to understand his characteristics. They found none of the arrogance that the Lord had previously exhibited. Rather, they found him always in a renounced mood. Mother Shachi was unable to understand anything of her son's behavior. She simply worships the Ganga and Lord Vishnu for her son's welfare. She prayed, "O Krishna Chandra, you took away my husband and you took away my son. Now I only have this one left. O Krishna, I have no one to protect me. Please give me the benediction that Vishwambar may peacefully remain at home." Mother Shachi purposely brought Vishnupriya and had her sit in front of her son. Although the Lord gazed in her direction, he did not actually see her. The Lord constantly recited verses and cried as he continually implored, "Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?" Sometimes he roared loudly in such a way that Vishnupriya Devi ran away in fear and Shachi became frightened. Due to feelings of separation from Krishna, the Lord could not sleep at night. He'd feel so uncomfortable that sometimes he would get up from bed, sometimes he would lie down, and sometimes he would just sit there. As soon as the Lord saw a materialistic person, he would conceal his internal mood. Every morning, he would go to take bath in the Ganga. Hari Bol, Kishore Prabhu. Oh, and Praduna Prabhu and Mantra Murti Mataji, pronouns to you. As soon as the Lord saw a materialistic person, he would conceal his internal mood. Every morning, he would go to take bath in the Ganga. As soon as the Lord returned from taking bath in the Ganga, his students would assemble there. The Lord did not explain anything other than Krishna, so the students could not understand anything. By the students' request, the Lord began to reveal the glories of the Supreme Lord to them. The students opened their books while chanting the name of Hari. The son of Mother Shachi was greatly pleased to hear this. On hearing the name of Hari, the Lord lost all external consciousness. Then the jewel of the twice-born cast his merciful glance on everyone there. Being fully absorbed in Krishna, the Lord explained the names of Hari in all the sutras, aphorisms, and commentaries. In all the sutras, vrittis, and tikas. The Lord said, "The holy names of Krishna are the eternal truth. All scriptures explain Krishna and nothing else. Krishna is the supreme controller, the creator, the maintainer, and the annihilator. Everyone, beginning from Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, is his servant. The life of anyone who gives up the lotus feet of Krishna and explains things as separate from him is useless as a result of his false statements. The philosophies in all scriptures headed by the Agamas and Vedanta describe the wealth of devotion to the lotus feet of Krishna. Teachers, bewildered by the illusory energy of Krishna, give up the devotional service of Krishna and take to other paths. Lord Krishna is the ocean of mercy, the life and soul of the universe, the lover of his servants, and the darling son of the cowherd Nanda. Even if one studies all the scriptures, if he has no affection or inclination for the name of Krishna, he is certainly degraded. If a poor fallen person takes to chanting the holy names of Krishna, he attains the abode of Krishna in spite of having many faults. This is the purport of all scriptures. Anyone who doubts this fact suffers. Anyone who explains the scriptures without referring to the worship of Krishna is a fallen soul who does not know the purport of the scriptures. Those who do not know the purport of the scriptures yet teach them to others are simply like asses carrying the load of the scriptures. People obtain death and destruction through such study of the Vedas. As a result, they are deprived of the festivals of Lord Krishna. The Lord awarded liberation to Putana, yet people still leave aside Krishna to meditate on others. For what happiness will someone give up the glorification of he who delivered the most sinful Aghasura? The entire world is purified by the name of Krishna, yet wretched living entities abstain from chanting his glories. Even the demigods headed by Brahma are overwhelmed by Krishna's festivals, yet people give up such festivals and take pleasure in inauspicious dancing and singing. The holy names of Krishna delivered Ajamil, yet those who are intoxicated by wealth, good birth, and education do not know him. O brothers, please hear my truthful statement. Worship the invaluable wealth of Krishna's lotus feet. O brothers, may you all desire to attain the same lotus feet that Lakshmi desires to serve, the same lotus feet by whose worship Lord Shiva has become known as a pure servant, and the same lotus feet from which the Ganga has emanated. Who in Navadvip has the power to refute my explanations before me? Vishvambar is a supreme Brahman and the personification of transcendental sounds. Therefore, whatever he explains is the supreme truth. The students were captivated as they heard the Lord's explanations with undivided attention, and the Lord also became overwhelmed while he explains the truth. Every word inherently establishes Krishna as a supreme truth, so there is no wonder that the Lord should explain in this way. After a while, Vishvambar regained his external consciousness. Feeling somewhat embarrassed, he began to inquire. How was my explanations of the sutras today? The students replied, Kichu na bhujilu. We have not understood anything. You explained every word simply in relationship with Krishna. So who is the proper candidate for understanding your explanations? Vishvambar smiled and said, Listen, brothers, pack up your books for today and let us go take bath in the Ganga. Being instructed by the Lord, the students packed up their books and went with him to take bath in the Ganga. As Lord Vishvambar sported in the Ganga, it appeared that the full moon was rising from the middle of the ocean. Vishvambar's sporting in the waters of the Ganga was seen by the most pious inhabitants of Madhya. The same Lord that personalities such as Brahma desired to see was now sporting in the water in the form of a Brahmana. All those persons who were taking bath at the bathing ghats of the Ganga, they gazed at the face of Gaurachandra. They all remarked to one another, Glorious are the father and mother of such a son. Being touched by the Lord, Goddess Ganga became joyful, and out of delight, she manifested her agitation in waves. Jahnavi thus danced in the form of waves to worship the Lord, whose feet are served by innumerable universes. The daughter of Janu encircled the Lord on all sides and showered him with her waters while remaining unseen. The purport of these pastimes is known only to the Vedas, but later some of these pastimes will be revealed by the Puranas. After completing their bath, Vishvambar and his students returned to their own homes. The Lord changed his clothes, washed his feet, and then offered water to Tulsi. Then, after properly worshipping Govinda, the Lord came inside and sat down to take his meal. Mother Shachi brought fine cooked rice with a tulsi flower on top and placed it before the Lord. After offering foodstuffs to Vishwaksena, the Lord of innumerable universes began to eat. Shachi, the mother of the universe, sat before the Lord, and the most chaste Vishnupriya watched from within the next room. Mother Shachi asked, My dear son, what books did you study today? Did you quarrel with anyone? The Lord replied, Today I read about the names of Krishna. The lotus feet of Krishna are in fact the reservoirs of transcendental qualities. Hearing and chanting about the qualities and names of Krishna is the truth, and servants of Krishna Chandra are also the truth. The literatures that glorify devotional service to Krishna are true scriptures. Others are simply atheistic. One should never hear scripture or Purana that does not prominently describe the devotional service of Hari, even if it is recited by the four-headed Lord Brahma. A Chandal is not a Chandal if he chants the name of Krishna, and a Brahman is not a Brahmana if he engages in sinful activities. Whatever the Lord as Kapila had previously instructed his mother, he now instructed to his mother again in the same mood. Oh, thanks, Kishore. I just saw your comment. Okay, so now instructed in the same mood as Lord Kapila to Devahuti. O mother, please hear the glories of devotional service to Krishna. Be attached to Krishna in all respects. O mother, the servants of Krishna are never destroyed. Even the wheel of time is frightened by the sight of Krishna's devotees. O mother, Krishna's servants do not undergo the tribulations of residing in a womb, taking birth, or dying. Krishna is the father of the entire universe, and anyone who does not respect his father is rebellious and sinful, and therefore subjected to miseries birth after birth. Dear mother, please hear attentively about the destination of the individual soul and the volume of distress he suffers by not worshipping Krishna. The living entity repeatedly dies and suffers the miseries of confinement within the womb. The reactions to his sinful activities manifest in every one of his limbs. All the bitter, sour, and salty preparations that the mother eats creates great inconvenience to the body of the child within the womb. The worms within the mother's stomach bite the tender flesh of the child, yet the child is unable to drive them away, and he continually burns with pain. Being encased within the hot ribs of his mother, the child cannot move, yet he survives by the arrangement of providence. Some most sinful persons do not even take birth. They repeatedly enter and die, womb and womb after womb. O mother, please hear attentively about the fate of the living entity. At the end of 7 months, the living entity develops consciousness. At that time, the living entity remembers his previous sinful activities and repents. He sighs deeply and offers prayers to Krishna. O Krishna, O life and soul of the universe, please protect me. Other than you, to whom can a living entity submit his sorrows? O Lord, one who binds someone can alone set him free. Therefore, O Lord, why do you deceive one who is dead by nature? I have wasted my life in vain, seeking pleasure in wealth and children. Thus, I have not worshipped your priceless lotus feet. Where are the sons that I raised through endless sinful activities now gone, leaving me alone to enjoy the results of my deeds? I have wasted my life in vain, seeking pleasure in wealth and children. Thus, I have not worshipped your priceless lotus feet. Oops, sorry. I just read that by accident. Okay. Where are the sons that I raised through endless sinful activities now gone, leaving me alone to enjoy the results of my deeds? Now, who will deliver me from this material condition? O Lord, you are the only friends who can deliver me. I have therefore understood that your lotus feet are the truth. O Krishna, I take shelter of you. Please protect me. Giving up a desired tree like you, I have become maddened and took to sinful life. O Lord, you have certainly awarded me proper punishment, but now please bestow mercy on me. Be merciful to me so that I may not forget you wherever I take birth and die. Any place where your glories are not heard, where the Vaishnavas do not advent, and where there are no festivals for your pleasure, I do not wish to live there, even if it is the celestial abode of Indra. Now there's a verse with there's an introduction before this verse here. Let's read it. The supremacy of human birth in the land of Bharat, India, which is favorable for the service of Hari, and the great utility for achieving the 5th goal of life provided by human birth in that same land of Bharat, which is full of sacred places wherein the Lord Hari appeared and enacted his pastimes, and which is better than the temporary heavenly planets wherein remembrance of the Lord's lotus feet, where the Hari's feet is absent. So the supremacy of human birth in this land of Bharat are glorified by the demigods in the following verse spoken by Sri Shukadeva Gosvāmī to Maharaj Parikshit. That's Srimad Bhagavatam 5:19-24. Let's read the translation. Wait, and the verse starts. Nayatra Vaikunta Kata Sudapaga. An intelligent person does not take interest in a place, even in the topmost planetary system, if the pure Ganga of topics concerning the Supreme Lord's activities does not flow there. If there are not devotees engaged in service on the banks of such a river of piety, or if there are no festivals of Sankirtan Yajna to satisfy the Lord, especially since Sankirtan Yajna is recommended in this age. I do not mind the miseries of living in the womb, provided I can constantly remember you. O Lord, grant me the mercy that you will not grant me the mercy that you will not send me to any place where remembrance of your lotus feet is absent. I like that prayer. I do not mind the miseries of living in the womb, provided I can constantly remember you. O Lord, grant me the mercy that you will not send me to any place where remembrance of your lotus feet is absent. O Lord, I have suffered in this way for millions and millions of births, simply as a result of my karma. O Lord, may those miseries and dangers come again and again, as long as your remembrance, which is the essence of all Vedas, remains intact. O Krishna, please favor me with your service and keep me at your lotus feet as a son of your maidservant. If you once deliver me from this miserable condition of life, then I will not desire anything other than you. In this way, the child constantly burns within the womb of his mother, yet he nevertheless likes that situation because he can think about Krishna. By the influence of his prayer, the child does not feel distress in the womb, but in due course of time, he reluctantly comes out. O mother, please hear attentively about the living entity's condition. He loses consciousness on touching the ground. Sometimes he loses his consciousness. Sometimes he loses his consciousness. Sometimes he cries, and sometimes he sighs. Unable to say anything, he floats in an ocean of misery. By the illusory energy of Krishna, the servant of Krishna suffers in this way if he does not worship Krishna. In due course of time, the child develops intelligence and knowledge, and he worships Krishna. And if he worships Krishna, he is surely fortunate. But if he does not worship Krishna and takes to bad association, then he again sinks into the depths of sinful activities and delusion. If therefore the living entity again associates with the path of unrighteousness, influenced by sensually minded people engaged in the pursuit of sexual enjoyment and the gratification of the palate, he again goes to hell as before. For one who has never worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Govinda, how is it possible for him to live in comfort and die in peace? To live without poverty and die peacefully, one must worship and remember Krishna. Therefore, O mother, worship Krishna and the association of devotees. Think of Krishna and chant the name of Hari. There is no substantial result in activities that are devoid of devotion to the Lord. Such non-devotional activities simply result in violence to others. In this way, the Lord, in the mood of Kapila, instructed his mother. Upon hearing his words, Shachi merged in ecstasy. Whether eating, sleeping, or remaining awake, the Lord did not speak of anything other than Krishna. When all the devotees heard from their friends about this, they discussed together and began to contemplate. Has Krishna manifested in his body? Is this the result of devotees' association or because of previous purificatory processes? As all the devotees contemplated in this way, their hearts filled with happiness. The devotees' distress was vanquished, and the atheists were and the atheists were uprooted as the Supreme Lord Vishwambar manifested himself. In the mood of a Vaishnav, Mahaprabhu Vishwambar constantly saw Krishna present everywhere in the world. Saw Krishna present everywhere in the world. He heard the names of Krishna both night and day, and he constantly chanted the name of Krishna Chandra. The same Lord who was once absorbed in the taste of scholastic pastimes did not relish anything now other than Krishna. In the early morning, all his students would gather for studies. When the Lord of the three worlds began to teach nothing other than Krishna, did we read up to this point? I think we might have read up to this point. Yeah. To be safe, let's just read from this. I'll read the Bengali. Oh, and Haribo Sudevi Didi. Okay. Verse 250. Paruvar varga sab ati usha kale poribar nimitta asya sabe mile. In the early morning, all his students would gather for studies. When the Lord of the three worlds began to teach, nothing other than Krishna came from his mouth. The students asked, "What is the meaning of Siddha Varna Samanvaya?" The Lord replied, "Narayan is situated in every letter of the alphabet." Students asked, "How were the letters of the alphabet perfected?" The Lord replied, "By the merciful glance of Krishna." Oops, did I forget to read the Bengali? I was still stuck in the mode. Okay, let's start over again. Poraite vaishe giya trijagat rai Krishna binu kichu ar na ase jivai. When the Lord of the three worlds began to teach, nothing other than Krishna came from his mouth. Krishna bhajana kahi samyak amnai Adi Madhya Ante Krishna Bhajana Bhujai. I am explaining to you about the worship of Krishna, which is the purport of the beginning, middle, and end of all Vedic literature. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. Oh, and I forgot to read for the previous verse. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm a bit tired right now. And so I skipped. Oh, no, I'm okay. Sorry. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. So the students asked, what is the meaning of Siddha Varna Samanvaya? And so the Lord replied that Narayana is situated in every letter of the alphabet. So Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The phrase Siddha Varna Samamnaya is the first sutra of the Kalapa grammar. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Okay, Kishore, remember we were talking about this? I was mentioning Mahaprabhu was studying Kalapa grammar. And Jiva Goswami's Harinamamrita Vyakaranam is like, I think 75% or something like that, Panini. Radhika made a chart. Radhika the Pandit, our god sister from Russia, she's doing her dissertation for Harvard University on Harinamamrita Vyakaranam, and she's done rigorous study. And she made charts showing the percentage of what in Harinamamrita Vyakaranam is coming from Panini and what is coming from Kalapa and one other place, I think. And there's like, so you can see exactly. Yeah. Okay, so the phrase Siddhavarna Samamnaya is the first sutra of Kalapa grammar. The sequence of reading vowels and consonants is well established since ancient times. By quoting the first sutra of Kalapa grammar, the Lord's students asked whether the standard method of presenting the alphabet is indeed well established. In reply, the Lord said that from the eternal, pure, complete, eternally liberated, spiritual, and most important enlightened Vidvad Rudhi, every letter of the alphabet certainly refers to Narayan. Narayanor Bhutto Yam Varnakramaha Tatra Dau Chatur Dasha Sarveshvara Dasha Dashavadara. Sorry. Okay. Persons who are on the ascending path study Persons who are on the ascending path study linguistic literature through Agya Rudhi. Yet the Lord, following the descending process, the Avaroha Panta, explains that each letter of the alphabet indicates the Supreme Lord. If a conditioned soul tries to measure each letter of the alphabet through Agya Rudhi, then he will achieve only sensual knowledge, not related to Narayan. But Virvadurudi confirms that each letter of the alphabet is a direct manifestation of Lord Narayan. That's the first sutra of Harinamamritya Vyakaranam. Narayanod Bhuto Yam Varnakrama. Agya Rudhi, the conventional meaning of words according to the unenlightened, this turns materialistic mental speculators into speakers of nonsense. Whereas the self-manifested personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, manifests himself in the form of letters to help the living entities chant his glories. Ah, this is great. I love this purport. Kishore, what are you asking? Are those mantras real? What mantras? The one I was just saying?
The
The one
mantras you were saying a couple
Oh,
seconds ago.
those are the first sutras of Harinamamrita Vakaranam. I'm in a Harinamamrita Vakaranam class right now. So they're all, yeah, fresh in my mind. Okay. শিষ্য বলে বর্ণ সিদ্ধা হইল কেমনে প্রভু বলে কৃষ্ণ দৃষ্টি পাতের কারণে. The students asked, how were the letters of the alphabet perfected? The Lord replied, by the merciful glance of Krishna. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. In reply to the student's question regarding the perfection of the letters of the alphabet, the Lord said that it was due to the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. In other words, every letter is perfect because each one indicates the complete, perfectly pure, and eternally liberated holy names, which are non-different from Krishna. Shishya bole pandit uchit vyakhya koro. Prabhu bole sarvakhan Shri Krishna smarnar God. I don't know how to say that actually. Smanara. The students asked, "O Pandit, please explain properly." The Lord replied, every moment remember Krishna. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The word uchit means proper, reasonable, or logical. Krishner bhajana kahi samyak amnai. Adi Madhya ante Krishna bhajana bhujai. I am explaining to you about the worship of Krishna, which is the purport of the beginning, middle, and end of all Vedic literature. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The phrase samyak amnai is explained as follows. The Shastras that instruct one about the supremacy of Lord Vishnu are called amnaya. The Shastras that are always discussed by great sages who have realized the supreme Brahman are called amnaya. And the Shastras that instruct human beings about the supreme religious principles so that they may attain the goal of life are called amnaya. In his commentary on the word samnamnaya, samamnaya, found in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-33, Śrīla Prabhupāda explains, Samamnayo Veda. Knowledge of the Vedas is received through disciplic succession. In the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Lord Krishna speaks to Arjuna as follows. Sarvasvachaham hridisannivishto mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaishcha sarvair aham eva vedyo vedanta krid veda videva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 12:13:1, Sri Sutta Gosvāmī speaks to the sages headed by Shaunak as follows. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunvanti Devyar Stavair Vedai Sangha Kramopa Nishadair Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavasti Tatargatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidu Sura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Nama. Unto that personality whom Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, and the Maruts praise by chanting transcendental hymns and reciting the Vedas with all their corollaries, Parakramas and Upanishads, to whom the chanters of the Samaveda always sing, whom the perfected yogis see within their minds after fixing themselves in trance and absorbing themselves within him, and whose limit can never be found by any demigod or demon. Unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead, I offer my humble obeisances. Haribo, Champak Mataji. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11:29, verses 42-43, Lord Krishna speaks the following words to Uddhav. Kim vadatte kimachaste kim anudya vikalpayet ityasya hridayam loke nanyo madveda kaschana mam vidhatte bidhatte mam vikalpyapoyate tvaham etavan sarvavedartha shabda astaya mam vidham maya matram anudyante pratishidhya prasiddhati. The meaning is, in the entire world, no one but me actually understands the confidential purpose of Vedic knowledge. Thus, people do not know what the Vedas are actually prescribing in the ritualistic injunctions of Karma Kanda, or what object is actually being indicated in the formulas of worship found in the Upasana Kanda, or that which is elaborately discussed through the various hypotheses in the Jnana Kanda section of the Vedas. I am the ritualistic sacrifice enjoined by the Vedas, and I am the worshipable deity. It is I who am presented as various philosophical hypotheses, and it is I alone who am then refuted by philosophical analysis. The transcendental sound vibration, wow, that's interesting. It is I who am presented as various philosophical hypotheses, and it is I alone who am then refuted by philosophical analysis. The transcendental sound vibration thus established by me as the essential meaning of all Vedic knowledge. The Vedas elaborately analyzing all material duality are nothing but my illusory potency, ultimately completely, the Vedas, elaborately analyzing all material duality and nothing but my illusory potency, ultimately completely negate this duality and achieve their own satisfaction. In the Harivangsha, it is stated, throughout the Vedas, the Ramayana, the Puranas, and the Mahabharata, from beginning to end, Only the glories of the Supreme Lord Hari are sung. Shuniya Prabhur Vyakya Hase Shishyagan Keho Bole Heno Bhuji Vayur Karan. Hearing the Lord's explanation, the students began to laugh. Some remarked, "It appears he is affected by an imbalance of life airs." Shishya Varga Bole Ebe Kemote Bakhan. Prabhu Bole Jeno Hoy Shastrer Praman. The students asked, "From where did you get this explanation?" The Lord replied, "This is the verdict of the scriptures." Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The students asked the Lord, "How have you given such a strange explanation?" The Lord answered, "I have explained according to the conclusions and consistency of the scriptures." Prabhu bole jadi nahi bujaho ekhone bikale shokol bujaibo bhalo mone. The Lord said, "If you cannot understand now, then I will explain to you in detail this afternoon." Amiha birale gia boshi punti chai bikale shokole jeno hoy ekathai. I will also go sit in a solitary place and look at my books. Let us meet together in the afternoon. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The words punti chai or chinti mean to study a book. Shuniya Prabhur Bhakya Sarva Shishyagan Kautuke Pustaka Bandhi Korila Gaman. Hearing the Lord's words, all the students packed up their books and left. Sarva Shishya Ganga Dasa Panditer Stane Kohilen Sabajata Thakura Bakhane. All the students reported to Gangadas Pandit. All the students reported to Gangadas Pandit everything that Nimai had explained to them. Ebe jata bakhane na Nimai Pandita Shabda Sane bakhane na Kṛṣṇa Samihita. In every explanation that Nimai Pandit has given recently, he explains Kṛṣṇa as the meaning of every word. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The word Samihita means complete, desired, intention, wish, or purport. Gaya hoite yavat asiyache na ghare tadavadhi Kṛṣṇa vai vakya nahi spure. Since he has returned from Gaya, he does not mention anything other than Kṛṣṇa in his explanations. Sarvada bolen Kṛṣṇa pulakita anga shane kone hasya hunkar karoy bahuranga. He always chants the name of Kṛṣṇa, and the hairs of his body stand on end. Sometimes he laughs or shouts loudly as he manifests different moods. Pratishabde dhatu sutra ekatra koriya pratidin Kṛṣṇa bhakya koren bosiya. Every day, he takes the dhatu or verbal root of every word and explains Kṛṣṇa through grammatical rules. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. Through the process of grammatical derivation, right? Yeah. Through the process of grammatical derivation extended to its natural logical limit, Sri Gaurangadev brought together the verbal root or original form of every word with the sutras for generating each word's base and inflections in such a way as to explain them all as referring to Kṛṣṇa. Ebetana bujibare na paricharita ki koribo amisha boloho pandita. O Pandit, we are unable to understand his present characteristics, so please tell us what to do. Upadhyay Shiromani Vipra Ganga Das Shuniya sabar vakya upajilo has. Hearing the student's words, the Brahmana Gangadas Pandit, who is the crest jewel of teachers, burst into laughter. Ojha bole ghare jaho, asi ho shokale, aji ami shikhaibo tahare vikale. Gangadas said, "Go home now and return soon. This afternoon I will instruct him." Bhalo mato kori jeno, porayena punti, asi ho vikale shab, tahar sanghati. Then he may teach you properly. You may also come with him in the afternoon. Paramaharishe sabe, vasai chalila, Vishwambhara Shange Shabe Bikale Aila. All the students happily returned to their homes, and in the afternoon they came with Vishwambar to the house of Gangadas Pandit. Gurur Charana Dhuli Prabhu Loy Shire, Vidya Labha Ho Guru Ashirvada Kore. The Lord took the dust from the lotus feet of his Guru, and his Guru blessed him, saying, May you attain knowledge. Guru bole Bapa Vishwambar Shuno Bhakya. Brahmaner Adhyayan Nahe Alpa Bhagya. The Lord's teacher said, My dear Vishwambar, Bap means my son Vishwambar, please hear my words. The studying of a Brahmana is not the result of being less fortunate. Mata Mahojar Chakravarti Nilambar, Bapjar Jagannatha Mishra Purandar. Your maternal grandfather is Nilambar Chakravarti, and your father is Jagannath Mishra Purandar. Ubhai kulete murka nahi ko tomar, tumi o parama jogya vyakhane tikar. There are no fools in either your maternal or paternal families, and you yourself are most qualified to explain the commentaries. Adhyayana charile she jodi bhakti hoy, Bapa mata moho ki tomara bhakta noy. If by giving up studies one becomes a devotee, then were your father and grandfather not devotees? Iha jani bhalo mate koro adhyayan, adhyayan hoile she Vaishnava Brahman. Remembering all this, practice your lessons properly. Only through proper study can one become a Vaishnava Brahman. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. According to my instructions, for now you should leave aside your explanations of devotional service to the Lord and concentrate on studying and teaching the Shastras. As a result of studying the Shastras, you and your students will actually become Vaishnava Brahmanas. Simply by studying the Vedas and literatures in pursuance of the Vedas, one can become a Vaishnava Brahman. If one does not undergo the purificatory processes under the guidance of an acharya and becomes indifferent to the study of the Vedas, then he will face disturbances in realizing the devotional service of Vishnu. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 2265, it is stated, Shastra Jukte Sunipuna Drida Shadajar Uttam Adhikari She Taraye Sangsar. One who is expert in logic, argument, and the revealed scriptures, and who has firm faith in Kṛṣṇa, is classified as a topmost devotee. He can deliver the whole world. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-17, it is said, Shastra Yukto Chanipuna Sarvata Drida Nishchaya Pro Dashraddha Dhikaro Ya Sa Bhaktav Uttamo Mata. One who is expert in logic and understanding of revealed scriptures, and who always has firm conviction and deep faith that is not blind, is to be considered a topmost devotee in devotional service. Bhadra Bhadra Murka Dvija Jani Veke Mone, Iha Jani Krishna Bolo Koro Adhyayane. How will an ignorant twice born know what is proper and what is not? Knowing this, you should chant the name of Kṛṣṇa and concentrate on your studies. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The word Bhadra is a combination of the words Bhadra, which means Shreya or ultimate benefit, and Abhadra, which means Preya or temporary gratification. And it means good and bad, beneficial and non-beneficial, auspicious and inauspicious, or proper and improper. Although a foolish person devoid of Vedic study may be a so-called Brahmana, he is not qualified to discriminate between good and bad. Therefore, if by your instructions your students become neglectful in their study of the scriptures and simply chant Krishna Krishna, they will not be able to understand what is right and what is wrong. Bhalo mate giya shastra boshiya porao, vyaktirikta artha koro, more matha khao. Go now, but promise me that you will teach the scriptures properly without any different meanings. Okay, Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The word vyatirikta means opposite, contradictory, independent, separate, or different. The words matha khao refers to the imposition of a vow on someone or the criteria of one's ruination. I'm just curious what it says in matakawa. That's like a, you hear that? Matakache. That's like a, let me just see. That means like somebody's like being really annoying. Usually. Let me just, okay. Just want to see what it says in the dictionary. There it is. Matakao. Matakao. Jeona. Do not, for the love of me, go away. Matakawa means give too much indulgence, mislead one by wrong ideas. Oh, interesting. To give too much indulgence or mislead one by wrong ideas. Okay. Okay. We're nearly finished. I'll stop in just a few minutes. Oh, and Hare Krishna Chintamani Didi. Prabhu bole tomar dui charana prasade, navadvipe ke ho more na pare vivade. Ami je bakhani sutra koriya khandan, navadvipe taha sthapi beka kono jan. Nagare boshiya e porai mo giya, দেখি করো sorry দেখি কার শক্তি আছে দুসুখ আসিয়া. The Lord said, by the mercy of your feet, no one in Navadvip can stand before me in debate. Who in Navadvip can refute my explanations of the sutras? I will teach publicly in the middle of the city. Let me see who has the power to challenge me. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. For an elaboration on these verses, one should see Adi Kanda chapter 10, verses 16 to 18. Harisha hoila guru shuniya bachan, chalila guru kori charana bandan. Gangadas Pandit became pleased on hearing these words of the Lord, who then offered respects at his guru's feet and departed. Gangadasa Pandit Charane Namaskar, Vedapati Sarasvatī Pati Shishya Jar. I offer my humble obeisances at the feet of Gangadas Pandit, whose disciple is Lord of the Vedas and master of the goddess of learning. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. For a description of the phrase Vedapati Sarasvatī Pati, one should refer to the statements of Lord Kṛṣṇa to Uddhav found in Srimad Bhagavatam 11:21 verses 26 to 43. Arkiba Ganga Das Panditer Sadhya Jar Shishya Chaturdasha Bhuvana Aradhya. What else is there to be attained by Gangadas Pandit, whose student is worshipped throughout the 14 worlds? Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The phrase Arkiba Sadhya means what other superior desired result is there? Cholila Parua Shange Prabhu Vishwambar Taraka Beshtita Jena Purna Shashadhar. As Lord Vishwambar walked along with his students, he appeared like the full moon surrounded by the stars. Boshila Asiya Nagari Ar Duare Jahar Charana Lakshmi Hriday Upare. He whose lotus feet are kept on the heart of Lakshmi came and sat at the doorstep of a local resident's house. Okay, so I think this is a good place to stop. Yeah, we'll read from this point on tomorrow. Let's just get a little sneak preview of what we're going to read tomorrow. He who's lotus. So, wearing his cloth like a sannyasi, the Lord repeatedly established and refuted the sutras. The Lord said, in Kali Yuga, one who does not have any knowledge about the conjunction of words is awarded the title Bhattacharya, and one who has no knowledge of grammar is engaged in explaining logic. But none of them could defeat me. Who can challenge the way I refute and reestablish a sutra? In this way, Vishwambar, the Lord of the universe, spoke. Who has the power to answer his challenge? The pride of those teachers who heard such words as they passed by on their way to take back the Ganga was smashed to pieces. Who in Navadip had the power to establish a conclusion before Vishwambar? In this way, Vishwambar was absorbed in ecstasy as he continued to give his explanations well into the night. By providence, one most fortunate Brahmana was sitting at the doorstep of a nearby house. He was well known by the name Ratnagarbha Acharya, and he was a friend of the Lord's father, being born of the same village. His 3 sons, Krishnananda, Jiva, and Yadunath Kavichandra, were like bees at the lotus feet of Krishna. That topmost Brahman had the highest respect for the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he would recite the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam with great affection. As he devotedly recited the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam with great satisfaction, the sound of his recitation entered the ears of the Lord. When the Lord heard that glorification of devotional service, he lost external consciousness and fell to the ground. All the Lord's students became struck with wonder. Shortly thereafter, the Lord regained his external consciousness. Upon regaining consciousness, Vishwambar repeatedly exclaimed, "Go on reading," as he rolled on the ground. The Lord said, "Chant, chant," and the pious Brahman continued reciting. Thus, an enchanting ocean of happiness and Krishna consciousness manifested. The earth became soaked with the tears of the Lord, who manifests ecstatic symptoms like tears, shivering, and hair standing on end. When the pious Brahman saw the Lord's great happiness, he recited the verses with increased devotion. Seeing his devoted recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord became pleased and embraced him. Being embraced by the Lord of Vaikuntha, Ratnagarbha became filled with love. Ratnagarbha wept aloud as he collapsed at the Lord's feet. Thus, the Brahman was ensnared in the network of Lord Chaitanya's love. Anyways, this is so beautiful. We'll read this all tomorrow. Then Gadadhar said, "Do not recite anymore." And then everyone sat around Lord Vishwambar. After a short time, Lord Gauranga regained his external consciousness and inquired, "What did you say? What did you say?" The Lord asked, "Have I been restless?" The students replied, "Your actions are glorious." What power? Anyways, okay, I'm going to just go on reading the whole thing. So we'll read all about that starting from tomorrow. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hey Kishore Prabhu, would you like to do Jajmani?
जय सब्रिकार श्री श्री गुरु गौरंग गण विका गिरिध्वरि राधा विनोद बिहरि राधा नयनाथ राधरमन बिहरि राधा माधव श्री श्री राधा दमदार जीव की जय। श्री श्री राधा गिरिधरि जीव की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जीव की जय। जय नत्यालील प्रविष्टम विष्णु पार परमहंस सुब्रे व्रजगचार्य वर्यास्तो दृष्ट शिष्यमान भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोस्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय। जय नत्यालील प्रविष्णु विष्णु पार परमहंस सुब्रे व्रजगचार्य वर्यास्तो दृष्ट शिष्यमान भक्ति विज्ञान शल नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज परिपावन गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टो विष्णुपारस्तो दृष्ट शिशुमान भक्ति बल तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टो विष्णुपारस्तो दृष्ट शिशुमान भक्ति वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टो विष्णुपारस्तो दृष्ट शिशुमान भक्ति त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टो विष्णुपारस्तो दृष्ट शिशुमान भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टो विष्णुपारस्तो दृष्ट शिशुमान भक्ति द्वैतमारु गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टो विष्णुपारस्तो दृष्ट शिशुमान भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव चार्य केशरी की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टो विष्णुपारस्तो दृष्ट शिशुमान जगद्गुरु श्री वर्षभानावि द्वैतदास शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। स्वापरिकार शील प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद महापरम भगवत परवार परमहंस अष्टोत्तरस्त शिशुमार गौर किशोर दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी ष्टोत्रस्त शिशुमाद सचिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वभौम अष्टोत्तरस्त शिशुमाद जगन्नाथ बाबूजी महाराज की जय। सूर्य कुंद वासी सिद्ध शिलभर सुरन दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री उद्धवदास उदरान दास की जय। करविदान आचार्य श्री श्रीमार बलदेव विभूषण प्रभु की जय। महामहोपध्याय रसकृष्ण मनीषल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पाद की जय। श्रीशैल रसिकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की जय। श्रीशैल रामचंद्र कविराज की जय। श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय। शिल नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर महाशय श्रीनिवासाचार्य श्यामानंद पंडित प्रभुत्राय की जय। श्री श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री शील वृंदावन दास ठाकुर महाशय की जय। श्री अष्टक विराज बसर जान नित्यानंद दुरुष गोपाल श्री चौषति महंत की जय। जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ सर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर यनमनंद लोकनाथ गर्भ अधि गौर परिषाद वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री शील ईश्वर परिपार की जय। श्री शील माधवेंद्र परिपार की जय। श्री अंतर्द्वीप मायापुर सुमनद्वीप गौद्रुमद्वीप मध्यद्वीप कौलद्वीप ऋतुद्वीप जानद्वीप माधरुद्रमाद्वीप रुद्रद्वीप मात्मका श्री नावद्वीप धाम की जय। गुप्त वृंदावन श्री नवरीप धाम की जय। श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय। श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय। श्री गौर चंद्र भगवान की जय। श्री श्री गौर गराधर की जय। श्रीमन गराधर पंडित गोस्वामी प्रभार की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्णा गोपीनाथ गोपी कपा गौ गिरि गोवर्धन माक श्री ब्रजमंडल धाम की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंग सखी यमुना सखी तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय। Śrīlalita Vishaka Chitra Champakalata Tunga Vidya Induleka Rangadevi Sudevi Adi Sakhi Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Ananga Prema Majalari Shri Rupal Banga Raga Vilasa Gunadati Kasturi Kamala Nayanamani Adi Manjari Vrinda Ki Jai Srimati Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhagavati Purnamasya Gamaya Devi Ki Jai Shri Gopishwar Sarishiv Mahadev Ki Jai राधा पनन की तदाम श्री वृंदावन की जय जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र नीलमाधव जीव की जय श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय श्री तत्व गोपीनाथ की जय सर्वा विघ्ना विनाशन करे भक्त विघ्ना विनाश श्री इंद्र सिंह देव की जय भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्री प्रहलाद लक्ष्मी नृसिंहदेव की जय श्री चरिराम चरि संप्रदाय चरि आचार्य की जय श्री मध्वार मनोज विष्णु स्वामी नंबदित्य चरि आचार्य की जय आकर मत्रा श्री चैतन्य मात की जय श्री गौरी मात वृंद की जय करंतरा श्री मात भगवताम भगवद गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जैव धर्म आदि सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन धर्म की जय त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलियुग ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय श्री आनंद करी वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्री समकट गौर भक्त वृंद की जय परम ब्रह्मन् परम सत्यम परमेश्वर पतित पावन प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम स्वयं भगवान जगन्नाथ मिश्र नंदन गौर सुंदर गराधर प्राणनाथ श्री विश्वम्बर मिश्र निमाय पंडित श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र महाप्रभु की जय परमादयाल श्रीमान नित्यानंद बलराम महाजान की जय श्री शैल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर महाशय की जय श्री चैतन्य भगवान की जय शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाशय की जय जय श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल ओम वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Dhanavad pranam. Hari Bol, everybody. So thank you so much for joining. Is there anything that anybody would like to mention before we end the video for today? Chobu, you have anything to say? Or?
I have a question, but like kind of unrelated.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
what did you mentioned once before, like you need to learn like 1,000 grammatical rules in order to like, make a sentence in Sanskrit, something like that.
Oh, did I mention that? Yeah. Well, yeah, Harinama Mritya Vyakaranam, it's all different. Yeah, there's how many sutras? I think there's like 3,000 sutras or something like that. That's in the Brihad version. So there are 3 different versions of Harinama Mritya Vyakaranam. There is the Brihad version, which is the complete Harinama Mritya Vyakaranam. Then there is the Laghu version, which is the short version of Harinama Mritya Vyakaranam by that was many people say that's done by Rupa Gosvāmī. And then there's the Madhyam version of Harinam, which is like in the middle, and that was compiled by Matsya Avatar Prabhu. He like took the main, right?
Based on one of the other grammars, which is more summarized.
Okay, so it's based on like
the current version of those.
So there's another like system for studying the version, and Matsya Avatar took all the verses of Harinama Mritya Vyakaranam that was based on like that was correlated with a different grammar that was shorter. It's like in between. So it's like half the number of sutras. How many is it altogether? Like 1,000 something. 1,200. And so, yeah, if you memorize all those sutras and you understand the application of all of them, then yeah, you have a base, like a good yeah, good understanding of the grammar. Yeah. Right now, in the class that I'm in, I'm learning from a devotee named Param Sundar and Param Sundar Prabhu, and we are on Sutra 100 something, forgot what number. And yeah, if anybody, yeah, what we're doing now is we're going to be memorizing our sutras using Anki cards. If anybody's ever interested in learning Sanskrit like this, I can share all the things that I've learned and like all the tips that I have.
You also
Actually,
mentioned,
my friend Param Sundar, sorry, my teacher Param Sundar, he's going to be starting a Srimad Bhagavatam class every Friday. He's going to go through the commentaries of our acharyas in Sanskrit and explain them. But it's helpful if you already understand kind of the sandhi, and you you also should be able to read Bengali script. And then, but if you're like, if anybody's interested in that, then yeah, let me know. I can send you a link. What were you gonna say, Kishore?
you also mentioned that there are rules that cancel out like sentence structure, something like that.
Yes, there are. There's 6 kinds of sutras in Harinamamrita Prakaranam. And God, I should know them, but I forgot. There's some sutras are a definition of like, like explaining this means this. Then there's some sutras which are rules. There's some sutras that are like nishad, like don't do this. There's some sutras that 6 different kinds. Yeah, and that's some sutras cancel out other ones. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's complicated. It's like mathematics. Yeah. Oh, Shubhananda is interested. Okay, great. Okay, I'll yeah, send me a message on WhatsApp, Shubhananda Prabhu.
You know any devotees who know how to make their own Brahmin thread?
I do. That would be a fun video to make, huh? Like there probably are videos on YouTube how to do it, but
There are, but there are a whole bunch of Brahmins in the comments saying this is not the right way.
yeah, though I mean the way that I learned how to do it is you do it with your, like, you wrap the Brahman thread around your knees, and it's a little bit tedious. Like it takes a really long time, and I think there are shorter ways of doing it, but that's just the way I learned. And yeah. All right. Um, let me just see the comments. All right, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Ganga, wait, let's see here on YouTube, Kishore Krishnaru, Chintamani Didi, Shubhananda just left, Champak Mataji, and then on YouTube, Haribol, thank you, Chintamani. And then Ganga Mataji, Vidya Lala Sadidi, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantra Murti Mataji, Sudevi Didi, and Champak Mataji. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Oh, wait. I'm just noticing more comments. Oh, and Raseshwari Mataji, Haribol. All right, so I'll see you all tomorrow for the next reading. And Kishore, if you have any more questions about like making Brahman thread and all that, we can talk on WhatsApp. All right.
Okay. Yeah, there's one more question, but I don't want to ask it publicly.
Okay. Yeah, send me a message on WhatsApp. All right.
Okay.
Haribol, everybody. Dandavat Pranams.